Hello everyone, this is Damien from Cloud Technology Experts. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create an EC2 instance in AWS and to connect to the EC2 instance. I'll try to show you an example of Linux and also of Windows and different ways to connect from your Windows laptop and from your Mac laptop. So let's get started. These are the steps I'm going to follow. Before you create an EC2 instance in AWS, make sure you have an account, all right? Then after that, you need to log into the AWS Management console. You need to go to the EC2 service. Then you need to create an EC2 instance and wait for it to be ready. Then you need to log in. And once you log in, you can install applications like a web server or a database server or whatever else you want to do. And when you finish, don't forget to delete the EC2 instance. If you leave it running, you'll be charged. All right, so let's get started. I already have an account, but again, if you don't have an account in AWS, make sure you have an account. So I'm going to start with step one. So here's my AWS Management console. To go to the AWS Management console, just type aws.amazon.com, as you can see right here. Press enter. That will enable you to sign into the management console. And since I already signed in here, it just simply took me there. Otherwise, you need to enter your credentials before it will log you to the platform. So now that we're here, you can search for EC2 service here and click on it. Alternatively, just to show you, if you are here on the AWS Management Console homepage, since I accessed EC2 recently, I also see it right here. But again, I've already accessed it, so click on that. And now I have my EC2 dashboard. So I want to create an instance. So I need to click on, I can just click on running instances here, or I can just click on launch instance right from here. All right, so let me click on that. And now it's wanting me to put the details of the EC2 instance that I want to create. So let's give it a name. The name is going to be, I'm going to call it VM1. As a matter of fact, you can give it any name you want. Before I actually proceed, so what is EC2 instance? Well, the name EC2 means Elastic Compute Cloud. It's basically a way for you to create a virtual server in AWS. If you are new to the cloud, see a virtual server to be like a laptop. In other words, you are trying to create a remote laptop in AWS so that you can use it to manage your applications. So just like your laptop, which is now free, if you create a virtual laptop in AWS, they're going to charge you for it. And that is the reason you have to delete it when you finish. And of course, AWS also has something called a free tier. If you are within the free tier, they might not charge you depending on your usability, depending on how much usage you have of your EC2 instance. In any case, anytime you finish creating your EC2 instances, it's best to delete it so that you don't get charged. All right, so let's create our virtual laptop or virtual server in AWS. Put the name there. And then you come to this tab here. When you come to this tab, it's telling you the application and OS images. If you look down here, you're going to see the major operating systems that we have. We have the Amazon Linux, Mac OS, Ubuntu Linux, Windows Server, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, Debian Linux. So if I summarize all this for you, majorly, you can either create Linux or Windows. We're going to learn how to create Linux, and then we're going to learn how to create Windows instances. So as you can see here, Amazon Linux is selected by default. If I want to select Ubuntu, I just click on that. If I want to select Windows, I just click on that. But I'm happy with this one for now, so I'm going to select the Amazon Linux, and then I move on to the next stage. Notice here, whenever you select the Amazon Linux, if you click down here, you see a bunch of different versions that you can use. Some of them are within the free tier, some of them are not. make sure that you select the free tier so you don't get charged. All right, so again, you just select your Linux and select the version. All right, come down here to instance type. In the instance type, this is where you decide how large or how big you want the spec for your server. Like if you went to the market to buy a laptop, some laptops are not that powerful. They are maybe just a couple of CPUs and a couple of RAMs. It's the same thing with AWS. If you buy a cheap server, it's not going to be that expensive. But if you buy a very expensive server with a lot of RAMs and CPUs, of course it will be expensive. So again, AWS gives you some of these instance types which are free. But of course, if you come down, there are actually a lot of them. And again, some of them are going to be very expensive. Some of them are not going to be that expensive. So make sure the one you select is free tier eligible. And as a matter of fact, I'm not changing anything here. So I'm just picking the default values. Come to key pair. What is a key pair? Well, a key pair helps you to log on to the instance we're going to create. So basically, your key pair is like your password. So whenever you create an EC2 instance, if you want to log into it, you must have to attach a key pair to it. Now, if you don't have a key pair already, you can create it here. If you already have a key pair, just click down here and you select your keys. In my own case, I already have 2 keys, but just to show you how to work with this, I'm going to create a new key. So I'm going to click on create new key pair. I'm going to call it key 1, North Virginia, and just add 1 to make it different. Okay. Now I like to put the region in there because key pairs are region specific. If I create a key pair in North Virginia, I will not see that same key pair in Ohio, except I create another key pair with the same name in Ohio. That is another region. So give it a name and leave all this as default and just do create key pair. So notice this. Whenever I click on create key pair, this one actually got downloaded to my laptop. So this will be stored in my download section in my laptop. Currently, I'm using the Mac laptop, so it should get stored in the download section of my Mac laptop. If you're using Windows, most likely it's going to get stored in the download folder of your Windows, but it depends on what you have as your default download folder. Okay, so key pair is there. Make sure you keep that safe because again, this is like a password. So you want to make sure that you keep it very, very safe in a secure location. Next section, network settings. We're not going to touch anything here. We're going to use what we call the default VPC. Later on, I'll show you how to create your own VPC. Then we have something here called the firewall. The firewall is like the security group. Now, to log on to this server, we need to allow SSH. Okay, it's already selected by default, so you don't have to do anything here as well. So we're just going to make sure it's exactly the way it is there. Storage, you need to attach a storage to your instance so that you can install your application, and even the operating system need a place to get installed. Again, I'm going to pick the default value and I'm not going to change anything here. So pretty much I'm done. If you look at it, the only thing that I actually changed or create was a key pair. All the other values, you don't have to do anything. It will still work. Go with the default values. Okay. So now I'm done. I just click on launch instance. Once you click on launch instance, you're going to wait for it to be ready. So it's creating it. Just click on that so it will take you there, or click on instances and you should see it here. It says running, but here it is still initializing. So now it says running, so I should be able to connect to it. So let me remind you of the steps. We already logged on to the AWS Management console. We just launched an EC2, we went to EC2 instance. We just launched an EC2 instance, which is step 3. Now we're going to log into the EC2 instance. Now to log into the EC2 instance, there are several ways you can do that. The easiest is to make sure you select your instance and then come here and click connect. Now I'm trying to log on to my instance, and the only thing I need to do here is make sure it's under EC2 Instance Connect and click connect. So now I'm going to wait for it, and it should log me in to the AWS EC2 instance. There you go. So now I'm inside this black screen, which is basically my Linux server running Amazon Linux. So that's the easiest way to connect. But in the next video, I'm going to show you how to connect from your laptop so that you can use something called PuTTY, P-U-T-T-Y, to connect to your server. So this will be the end of this video, just showing you how to create an EC2 instance. All right. So let's stop here, and I'll see you in the next video where we're going to connect to the server.